What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the MLB Swing for the Fences DFS show. I'm your host, Mangone, back with Titletown, back with JT, back to talk some baseball. We'll go to you first, Titletown. How's it going over there? How's your day?
Yeah, it's going good. Excited for baseball. NBA's on, so I was watching that. Just keep following up with that. Looking forward to MMA on the weekend, but got a good slate of baseball right here. So got Coors Field back against the Giants. Feel like it's been on for a while. Pitching options are interesting. Don't have a stud to talk about, so I like the slate.
Yeah, how's the MMA playbook coming along? How's things looking for that slate? Give the people, tell them kind of what you're doing with the MMA stuff here over at Run Pure Sports.
Yeah, MMA with a lot of with COVID and stuff going on. There's a lot of replacements late in the week sometimes, so I don't really jump in until Wednesday, Thursday. Mainly, I start jumping in. Then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, really looking at line movement, stuff like that, and all the new fighters. But always have a playbook, do my core plays, do a podcast usually when we can find time to do it. It's been going really well. It's a very fun sport. A lot of people are enjoying it. So start my research later in the week, though, so nothing up yet.
All right. Well, if you want to check out that, you can check it out. It's normally up like Friday or early Saturday. So it'll be up and, time to build your lineups and, be able to get going. And I'm sure you can use those to make bets as too, right, Titletown?
Yep, you can use us to make bets. I sometimes put in my favorites and the sports betting guys. Sports Keg Jason does MMA handicaps as well. So between him and I, it's pretty good usually.
All right, let's head over to you, JT. How's your day going? Are you sweating NBA? Are you getting ready building your golf lineups? Any Fabian Gomez in your life? I don't even think he's in the field, but how's your day going?
Yeah. Fabian almost made a cut a couple of weeks ago when I liked him, but looking forward to seeing that MMA playbook. I don't think it's this week, but next week we got the Cormier-Miocic rematch, and I'm definitely going to be watching that. But tonight's an interesting slate of games. I've looked primarily on Draftkings today. They did an interesting job with the pricing. Looks like there's a lot of interesting plays, and then I think there's a lot of trap plays tonight. And so it's going to be a good night. It's going to be an interesting night.
Yeah, I'm with you. I kind of like this slate. I think it's a good one overall. So excited to kind of dive into it and, see what you guys think about it overall. Let's dive in and talk about the slate. First thing up, we'll start at the pitchers. And at the top, I don't really know what to do with these guys. I'll say, let's start with the top end range, and we'll say the 9K and above. There's three guys. It's Yu Darvish, it's Ryu, and it's Clevenger. Titletown, what are you doing with these guys? Because I'm torn. I think there's some decent options here, but again, it's a Coors Field slate, so you got to love to get some Coors Field's bats in, right?
Yeah, this is definitely a big decision up top. I do like Clevenger. He is my favorite above the 9K range. I think he has the best stuff, the best pitcher. I don't love picking on Cincinnati. It's a pretty good lineup. So I'm not going to go crazy. Still deciding on DraftKings if I want to go the Clevenger route. Talk about someone under 9K I like more. But Clevenger is definitely viable, and I'll have some of him. And I also like Yu Darvish a little bit. Gets the Royals, who's very bad. Thing about it is his price on DraftKings at 10-4. Over 1K more expensive than Clevenger. And you mentioned Coors Field, you want bats. So he's a tournament play only for me. I think he has good upside, definitely could break the slate, but I'm not going to get there in cash. And then not too much interest in Ryu. The Braves have a pretty good offense, but it's a range I'm going to want some of, but with Coors Field, I'm going to want to get some value arms as well.
All right. How about you, JT? I mean, we talked about it, right? Coors Field's obviously in play, and you might be able to be different paying up for these guys. Typically, you would think Mike Clevenger's a guy that people would want to go to, but how are you approaching this top end range?
Yeah, I think each of them has a unique challenge for me anyway. Darvish, obviously, 10-5 on DK. He's not at home. I like him a little bit more at home. But Kansas City's a good matchup, and so he's definitely in play. Clevenger's price is very good on DK. He's coming off of a bad matchup. I like to target guys when they're, guys of his caliber when they haven't pitched well, because that's not going to continue. The guy that I've struggled with all day, because I hate rostering him, And he's kind of everything I hate about an athlete. He's kind of slovenly. He doesn't look all that excited about playing the game itself, is Ryu. And the problem that I'm having is he's been bad to start the year, but the Braves strike out 35% against left-handers. And he's a guy that people get excited about picking on, and then you just watch that team offensively beat balls into the dirt. And this Braves team, which is injured a little bit now, you've got Albies out, Freeman's out of the lineup tonight. It's tough at 9-5, but if there's ever a spot to play Ryu, it's tonight at 1% ownership. I don't know that I'm going to get there yet, but definitely presents an interesting prospect in tournaments for me anyway.
All right. Yeah. Listen, I don't think I'm spending up on these guys, I would say. So I want to just go on to the next range. So let's go to you, Titletown. Let's talk about these guys in the mid tier. And there's one guy that I really like a ton. We also had Lance McCullers go in. He was, not pitching. Now he's pitching again. So I don't know what's going on with him. I saw he kept bouncing in and out of lineup. You got another guy, Ross Stripling, who I think is interesting. I know people are talking in the chat about Dallas Keuchel. So there's a ton of mid tier guys to talk about, Titletown. Give me some of your favorites.
Yeah, well, my favorite in this range is Sean Manaea, 8.6K on Draftkings, and FanDuel really mess up his price. He's 6.8 over there. So FanDuel is my favorite pitcher on the slate. Gives me the Coors bats I want. Good matchup against Texas. Favorite pitcher overall. So FanDuel makes it very easy. On Draftkings, he's my preferred option as well. And then other pitchers in his range, yeah, with McCullers, a lot of risk. He's in the lineup, he's out. I don't know what's going on. So if I get confirmation that he's normal, he's good to go, I'll want some because I'm not scared of Arizona. 8.3K. I like him in tournaments, but that's only if I get clarification that he's actually good. Don't have much interest in Stripling. 7.8K feels a little expensive. Potteries are pretty good, so not going to go there. John Gray a little bit. Yesterday, I wasn't on the pod or the show, but I liked Marquez a little bit. I like targeting Marquez and Gray at home at Coors because I think they are pretty good pitchers, and Coors always keeps their ownership down. Gray's price is up to 7K, but he does have good strikeout stuff. It's a low-owned pitcher only in tournaments. Don't go crazy on it. But San Fran isn't the best offense. There are a couple of bats I do like. But if John Gray can avoid the lefties like Belt and Yaz, he can have a pretty good performance. So he's one of my favorite tournament plays at low ownership.
All right. How about you, JT? I would say my favorite guy in this mid tier is probably Sean Manaea. If I had to pick, that'd probably be my favorite to go to. How about you?
Yeah, after I saw that you guys liked him and I saw that, he may end up as highly owned as 40%, I'm struggling with trying to understand why. This is a guy who pitched roughly 19, 20 innings last year. His first two starts, a little more than 4 innings. He hasn't been crisp. His velocity's been down. And on this slate, yes, it's a good matchup. And Texas strikes out almost 30% against lefties. But I just don't know how far he's going to go in this game. I don't know how crisp he's going to be. And, maybe you guys can sell me a little bit more on Manaea because I'm having a hard time seeing it. I'm having a hard time seeing this 30% ownership. Is it just due to price? Is it the fact that a lot of these prices on some of these guys are just a little bit too expensive or something else?
Yeah, Titletown, I'll go to you first. What are you thinking about Manaea? What are the reasons to play him, you'd say, in this spot?
Yeah, I think he get a little at a discount than the Clevengers of the world with Coors, so I think that's going to be a little bit. And then I also think people are just going to look at his Vegas numbers. I mean, he's minus 165, the A's are, so you can get that win. Texas is not scary at all. It's Pitcher's Park. I mean, it's not like a Coors situation or anything. So with a 3.5 implied total for Texas, not an offense I'm very scared about. Manaea's got decent stuff. FanDuel is just his pricing, 6.8K. So there's not much explanation for over there. But on DraftKings, I think with a little discount, good chance, one of the better chances for a win on this slate against an offense I'm not scared of at all. So I think all those adding up with no clear other option like a Cole or something that I think he will be the most popular pitcher.
Yeah, and I think it's like the discount reason. I get it. You can obviously go to a guy like, Dallas Keuchel, but I worry about Keuchel a little bit. I know Yelich apparently is out of the lineup, so I kind of want to see what is that lineup there, because that Keuchel's someone I saw that was popping, and I was like, I just don't know if I can get super behind him. Let's see if Yelich is in the. Let's see what the full lineup is. Like I said, someone said that Yelich was out of the lineup, so I want to see what Keuchel's dealing with here today.
I don't see an updated one.
No, I got it here. It's Healy, it's Keston, Herrera, Avisel Garcia is in the 3-hole, Jed Jayarko, Ben Gamel, Manny Pena, Mark Mathias, Orlando Arcia, and Eric Sogars. Like it's not the best lineup. Still have a 4.35 implied total. I'm curious to see like how that goes, where that goes. That's something I'll definitely be watching. And I look at K props too. I try to see what's going on with those. And I'll admit I haven't looked at them a ton today. And like Keuchel's got a 3.5 K prop, which like I kind of expect. He never has a really high K prop. So I don't know. And Manaea isn't that high either. It's 4.5. But yeah, I worry about his leash, JT. Trust me, that's the one thing I worry about. I looked at him, I think, on opening day, and I was like, I didn't like, not opening day, but early in the season, and I didn't like him in one spot. And one reason why I was like a little nervous was they're just always cautious with his pitches, right? That's the one thing I had some fear with. Hoping that obviously that they let him go a little bit more now that he's gotten a couple starts under his belt. But yeah, it's more so I want to make sure I jam in Coors, JT, and I don't know. I don't love a lot of these other top end and middle tier arms.
Yeah, I think the mid range is tough. Gray is a guy that I like to roster normally, and he's 7K tonight, but he's got to navigate Yastrzemski, Belt, Dickerson. You go down the list. I mean, Crawford for as long as he's in. I have respect for these Giants left-handers. And Gray, early on this season, it's way too early, but way too early strikeout percentage, 12%. That's way down. Keuchel strikeout percentage early on the season, 7%, right? So if I'm looking at, this slate and thinking about where can I get strikeouts, yeah, I'm looking at a guy like Darvish. I'm looking at Clev. In the mid-range, Garrett Richards is facing the Dodgers. That's not a matchup I want to target, but he's 6'2", and we saw last week with Zach Allen in Arizona. They can be beat on the road. It's not going to happen often. Even Lamet pitched a little bit well against them last night. I didn't play Lamet at all last night because he was 9'5". If he was 6'2", I would have played some of them. And that's when I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at a guy like Richards, I'm thinking maybe if I want to get up and get those Giants bats, I'm more interested in the Giants tonight, bizarrely, based solely really on price. Then maybe I go to a guy like Richards and I can pair him with a Clevenger, or a Darvish, or even Ryu if I want to get crazy, because I think Ryu is that 1% chance that he actually does something right. But that's where I'm looking at. Gonzalez, I love the Angels tonight. He had a good game against the Angels last week. Trout and Rendon are back. That's going to come to a stop. Dobnak is a decent pitcher, but this isn't where the Twins wanted to be, having him pitching this many innings early in the season. So, and Stripling and Hauser, these are guys that I agree are just maybe a little bit higher price than I'd like them to be. So it ends up I'm looking at a little bit of maybe even Kyle Gibson with an all right-handed Oakland lineup, see if he can get a bunch of ground balls in, like you guys talked about, in a good pitcher's park.
All right, Titletown, let's go over to you. Let's talk about some of these cheaper arms on this slate. And Robbie Ray, he's kind of in the conversation for me on a site like DraftKings where you want to jam in the Coors bats, right? So I'm considering him, but I just don't know. I don't know what to do with these cheaper arms. Don't love a lot of them. You can always go down all the way to the bottom and play this TJ Antone guy. So what are you doing here, Titletown, with these cheap guys?
Yeah, you pretty much hit it. I mean, this slate is tough because you can go all the way down to Antone at 4K. I don't mind that. In tournaments, he definitely should be in your pool, and you can make a case for him in cash games if you want all Coors bats. Mine lean right now is not going that route. The Twins are pretty cheap on DraftKings, and I do like the Twins a lot. There's pieces in that order that are about 3K, so I'm not finding myself needing to fully punt to get bats that are okay, but I do get it if you want a full Coors stack. And you mentioned Robbie Ray, 6.5K. We know he has good strikeout upside. He always does. He has a lot of downside, of course, too, against the Astros. Ever since the Astros, they're a different team than last year, as we all know. Springer struggled a little bit, had a good day yesterday, but I'm fine taking a couple chances against the Astros. I don't think I want to go there in cash. The more I'm looking at it and thinking about it, I'm leaning the Clevenger Manaea pairing, I think, because of the value that the Twins offer, and then get a couple Rockies bats if I can as one-offs. But that's my lean right now. Robbie Ray in tournaments is fine at 6.5K. And then if you want to go all the way down to Antone, I don't hate it, but it's not my favorite route in cash.
All right. How about you, JT? I mean, we always talk about it in tournaments. There's always merit. If you're not in love with pitching, you can always just go all the way down and hope that those bats get you there. What are you thinking with the cheap arms?
Yeah, I think, I mean, Zach's right. Antone's a guy that is definitely going to be in my pool. I'm going to be maybe between 5 and 10%, just where I want to get one of these more expensive full stacks. Doesn't mean the Indians aren't in play as an offense. It's just, offensively, they're not quite, clicking just yet. Probably not, I'm not going to have any Logan Webb. Newcomb is a guy I'm going to stay away from until I'm confident that it gets fixed. I like the Cubs tonight. Robbie Ray, I mean, Houston's just so tough a matchup. And, he's as low as you're ever going to see him. But he's as low as you're ever going to see him because he keeps walking guys. He keeps giving up hard contact. And, there's a lot of these guys at the top of the Astros order who make their living crushing left-handed pitching. Now, he can give up a couple of home runs and still strike out 7 or 8 guys. And at 6'5" in a tournament, you get 15, 16, 17 points, and you're happy. So Ray's a guy that I'll probably have a little bit of in the pool. Keuchel, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with Keuchel. The price is probably right for what he could get at a ceiling type game. So I just don't know how much ammo I'll have, even though that's a bad lineup.
All right. Listen, I got nothing else to add in that range. Let's just give our, favorite pitchers, give our top 3 guys. Titletown, hit me with them first.
Yeah, so I'll go Sean Manaea as my favorite pitcher on both sides. Draftkings or FanDuel for sure because he's only 6.8. Following him, I'm going to go Clevenger right now. Reds are a little scary, but Clevenger has a good upside for 9.2K on this slate. I didn't mention Newcomb at 6K. I don't mind him either. Robbie Ray, then Antone with a little bit of John Gray. So I guess those 4 would be who I mix around in tournaments. If you're 20 maxing or something, those are the 4 I would get. But it's Manaea, Clevenger, and then I'd want to mix in Newcomb, Antone, Gray, and Robbie Ray.
All right, JT, how about you? Give me your favorite tournament targets here.
Yeah, I'll probably go Darvish, Gibson, and then at the low end, I'm split right now between Richards and Ray of who I want to take a shot on. It may end up being Richards just because that's a little bit better park and you get a little bit more savings, but the low end is a little frightening.
All right, let's head on over to the hitters. But before we do that, let's give a peek at the YouTube. How are things going over there? How's the YouTube chat doing? We got Steve Anthony hanging out. We got Dallas Sports Fan in there. Also, we're all hanging out, having a good time. I see MC Dusty as well. Steve Anthony saying I'm a Coors truther. Yeah, I'm a Coors truther because, hey, there's an implied total of 7. I'm a cash game guy. What am I going to do? Not play the implied 7 total? Got to follow the Vegas there. We got 106 people watching and we have 29 likes, guys. Let's bump that up a little bit. Maybe we'll give away some swag. We'll check back in 10 minutes where we're at and we'll pick a number on it. But if you hit the likes now, it'll encourage me to maybe give a lower number if we have that. So don't try to play this game where you kind of wait to hit the like. That way you can get a better number on it. Because the more likes I get now, I might want to give you a better number is what I'm trying to say. Let's go over and talk about the hitters now. We got the first game up. We have the Minnesota Twins. We got the Pittsburgh Pirates. And we got a pretty nice total here for the Twins, but I don't love the ballpark, right? This game's in Pittsburgh, and I'll head over to you, JT. What do I do here? Because, I don't really play bats in Pittsburgh, but I'll say this. Minnesota's got a pretty nice total, so they have to be kind of interesting.
Yeah, they've definitely got left-handed power, which is where you want to attack Trevor Williams. He's kind of lower end pitcher. And, guys like Kepler, Rosario, of course, you got Nelson Cruz there. I know I'm in the minority, but I kind of like some of these Pittsburgh bats. I've been playing Colin Moran, who I still think is tied for the National League lead in home runs. Josh Bell hasn't done a lot yet. Adam Frazier is a guy that can get on. He can pop one out and steal a base. Dobnik's an okay pitcher, but this is not where the Twins wanted to be, and having him starting and pitching this many innings. And, he's going to have, I think, 7 or 8 lefties in this lineup. And the thing that I love most about the Pirates is they're cheap. So if I want to play a one-off, and in my main right now, I have Colin Moran in it as a one-off, and you want to play Frazier and you want to take a look at a Brian Reynolds, these are all guys that have some upside. They have some stolen base upside. And so I don't hate it. On the Twins side, I think you full stack the Twins if you're going the Twins. PNC is a little bit underrated as a park in terms of runs. They were in the top 10 in runs scored last year. A lot of that has to do with how bad the Pirates bullpen was. Pirates bullpen is no better, and I think the lefties can get to Trevor Williams. They're not my number one stack on the night, but they're definitely in my player pool.
All right. Titletown, how about you? What do you want to do with this game here?
Yeah, I like the Twins a lot. I think they're a little underpriced. Trevor Williams is not good. Doesn't strike anyone out awful against lefties. Minnesota on the road. They get the 9th inning at bats or ABs for sure. So I like that part about them. PNC Park, yeah, it's not someone we always want to target, hoping that keeps the ownership down a little bit. But these prices are very intriguing to me. Kepler up top, I always like. 4,100 on DraftKings, not bad. Cave at 2,700, batting 5th. Lock and load there, good value. Polanco 3.9, Rosario 4, Luis Arez 3.3. I like this whole lineup actually, but those are my favorites. I'm gonna probably leave out the Marwin Gonzalez and Adrianza. Mitch Garver batting 7th. Think he's gonna go overlooked because he is batting 7th. Always one of my favorite plays on Minnesota. One of my top stacks behind Coors, but. Yeah, second favorite stack behind Colorado, so I'll have a lot of them.
Yeah, definitely think you have to like them, and I think there's good guys to mix throughout your lineups. I got one of them in my core plays. I obviously don't want to give it here. It's out on Run Pure Sports, so on one of the sites, DraftKings or FanDuel, I have one of the guys in this game as a core play, so check that out. Let's head on over to the Reds. Let's head on over to the Indians. And we'll go to JT. The Indians, I think they're in play, right? They're going up against a 4K pitcher. They almost have an implied 5 total. They're close to getting up there. So what do you want to do with this game here?
Yeah, I think the Indians are in play. They've got that starter that is – he might go 5 innings. That's the other thing. He pitched 4, a little bit more than 4, I think, in long relief last week, and he did pretty well. So if he's doing okay, the other thing about him being 4K is he's not one of these 4K guys that's going to go an inning or 2 and that's it. He may actually get into the 4th or 5th inning. He might not if he gets lit up. And that's, I think, why you look at Cleveland bats, because it's not like he's not a super high prospect. He's not like a Bubik that we talked about last week who was starting against the White Sox. So. And on the Reds, I mean, with Clevenger, there's 4 or 5 lefties in this lineup. That's where he has trouble. You want to take a shot on a one-off on the Reds, but I think I'd probably stay away from full stacking the Reds tonight.
All right, Titletown, how about you? This game is one that I still don't know what to do with. I think the Indians, they have some power bats. It's not the same team as last year, but still pretty good. So how would you approach this one?
I like the Indians more on FanDuel because of their pricing, and you can pretty much stack anyone. I think the Indians are going to come in low owned on both sides. I think FanDuel, they're going to be completely overlooked just because Manaea is 6.8K. And I like this Indians team. J-Ram at 3.6, Lindor 3.4. I mean, Lindor is a 4K player we've seen on FanDuel last year, so that just is way too cheap. Carlos Santana, Cesar Hernandez, Reyes. I mean, I like this Cleveland team, and I don't think they're going to get too much ownership. DraftKings, I don't mind them. They're a little more expensive and don't fit my builds as much, so won't have as much over there, but definitely will get some on FanDuel and tournaments.
All righty, let's head on over to the next game. We got the Blue Jays. We got the Braves. And listen, we normally always like the Braves. They're pretty fun. They're a great offense, but there's no Freddie Freeman on the lineup. I mean, what is our boy Big T going to do with no Freddie Freeman there? JT, break it down for me. How are we handling this game?
Yeah, this is a game that I've been stuck on all day, and for a couple of reasons. One, you've got two pitchers who have been, bad doesn't start to cover it. Ryu barely made it into the fourth inning a couple of times. He's been wild. He's been giving up just a bunch of base hits. Newcomb, goes 2 innings and then he can't find the plate. And they're both priced down comparative to where they normally are. Newcomb is $6K. Ryu is, at least on DraftKings, a $2,300 price drop down to $9.5. He was up in the mid-10s and $11K last year. And a Cy Young candidate, a couple of years ago. So I like the spot a little bit for Ryu. Like I said, I just based on ownership and based on the fact that Atlanta does strike out quite a bit, but they also have guys like Adam Duvall and, Dansby is pretty good. Darno is good against lefties. It's just that Ryu doesn't give that up. He doesn't give up the fly ball. He makes these guys beat it into the ground. I'm much more on the Blue Jays side. I think the Blue Jays are going to end up being one of my top stacks because, the Braves pitching rotation was, in a bad way when Hamels went down. I wasn't sure what they were doing with that signing because I think Hamels is on the end of his career anyway. But now you've got Soroka hurt. They released Fultonavich. And, now they're going to have to rely on Newcomb to throw a bunch of innings, and he's been so bad. So I like this spot. I like it as a spot for the Blue Jays to get right. Alternatively, I can see where you might take a couple of shots if you need trying to catch lightning with Newcomb, but I probably will not do that.
All righty, Titletown. How about you? I talk about the Blue Jays, right? They're interesting always against lefties, because they have good righty hitters. That's where I want to target them. But Newcomb's the guy who scares me. How about you? Are you on board with what JT said?
I'm not as high on Toronto as JT is. I'll have a little Newcomb at 6K just for his skill set. For Toronto bats, though, I don't like the full stack. If I'm going to have some, definitely Bo Bichette's my favorite bat on Toronto. Kid's a complete stud. I'll have a lot of him, play a lot of him in years to come. So definitely Bo Bichette at lower ownership against a lefty, leading off on the road. Definitely a very good one-off there. I'm going to mini stack it. I like going down to Gurriel or Grusek. I always like against lefties as well. So I think they're going to be low owned. I do like Toronto a little bit, but not full stack. The mini stack with Bichette and then either Grusek, Vlad, Gurriel. And then not going to have too much Atlanta either. If you're going to one-off Ronald Acuna, can't go wrong with him. FanDuel especially is 3.7K, and you're pretty much able to get any bat with Manaea. So if you want to go there, just buying on the talents. It's Ronald Acuna. You can never go wrong playing them. So those are my little interests in this game.
All right. Let's head on over to the next game. We got the Chicago Cubs. We got the Kansas City Royals. And, the Cubs, we always talk about it, right? They're always have a nice implied total, but I don't know. They're never on the winning team, JT. I don't think I want to play any Cubs. How about you?
Yeah, it's a tough park. They're looking like they're going to get at least some ownership. I do like some one-offs. Wilson Contreras has been hitting the ball very hard the last week. Hit a home run last night. Chris Bryant looks like he might be finally coming around, hitting the ball a little bit better. So those two guys in Baez, for me, make a nice mini stack. I don't know that even though Kansas City has a bad bullpen and I don't expect this rookie to go very long in this game, I just think there are other spots that I like a little bit more than going full in on the Cubs, at least in my main lineup.
All right, Titletown, what do you want to do with this one? Again, a game we haven't really been loving, but my boy Chris Bubik's in there, right? I don't know if you played him, a week ago or so, Titletown, but, are we stacking up against him?
No, I didn't play him that night. I remember that. You liked him a lot. Pitching was awful that slate. It was fine, but no, I'm not.
He got 8 points, man. It was solid. We got the job done. I mean, can't complain.
Everything you said for the price and everything made sense. I just really wasn't on him that much. That's all. And I'm not gonna I'm not targeting the Cubs too much. Their total's fine, so I think they do get a little ownership. If you're going to go anyone, you can go Javi, Chris Bryant against the lefties. But there's other spots on this slate that I like more with Coors and the Twins. So it's going to be a stay away spot for me mainly, unless I want off some of the righties on the Cubs.
All right, let's head on over to the next game. We got the Brewers. We got the White Sox. We got a 9 total here. And we got Adrian Hauser against Dallas Keuchel. And, these seem like, Hauser's a nice pitcher. He's been pretty good. And Keuchel, he's a guy that, has a better name than he actually is. JT, what should we do here? Should we stack him up or should we stay away?
Yeah, for me, this is just an odd game. The pitchers are, Hauser, I like his talent a little bit, but he's just at a price point where I just like other play. I'd like to go elsewhere. And Keuchel, I rostered him last week, and he got you, 11 points, which is kind of what you expect. And I'm looking to do a little better. I know the Milwaukee lineup isn't that great, but I don't know if I see enough upside in the pitchers, but I think they're both good enough that I just have a lot less interest in these bats.
Yeah, listen, I'm with you. This is just not a game I'm really looking to go after too much. You can talk about maybe stacking up against Keuchel with some of those righties, but are they some sexy bats? No, not really. This just feels like a game I hope just the final score is about like 3-2 and nothing really big happens from that game. Does anyone have any Luis Robert interest? He's been pretty fun, but I don't know. I know he's been a chalkier bat. Will he be like some chalky one-off title town or no?
I don't think so. What's his price on DraftKings? I haven't even looked at him in my initial builds. Anyone?
He's 4.3K. I know he's he's just like a really talented player and, steal and his power and steal upside. So I figured I'd just ask if maybe as a one-off he'd be interesting.
Yeah, I don't mind it in tournaments that much, but I'm not going to go there, I don't think.
All right, let's head on over to the next game. We got let's go to Coors. We got the Giants. We got the Rockies. Let's talk about Coors Field because that's always a fun one to talk about. Let's go to you, JT. Tournaments. How are we approaching this game? Listen, you got Logan Webb, who we like to target him, and we got John Gray. You talked about respecting those Giants lefties. So what do you want to do here with this one?
Yeah, I think I'm going to avoid the pitching in this game completely. I really like the Giants side, especially the top of the order. We say it kind of every show we talk about, beware of the bottom because these guys can get in shape for at any point in the game. With Kapler on the Rockies side on DraftKings, almost all of the Rockies are 5K or over, and they're fairly prohibitive to where if you want to play the Rockies, you have to get very creative, and you probably have to pay down in pitching. And I just like the Giants side more. The Rockies are definitely in play. Logan Webb is not a pitcher that I'm particularly concerned about. It's not a guy that I'm going to avoid targeting. We know that Giants bullpen is bad. It's just for the prices. I think I'm going to go elsewhere than the Rockies side for the most part. Of course, I'm going to have a couple in the multi-entry, but I don't think, I won't have any Rockies on my main lineup.
Yeah, so Titletown, talk to me. Obviously you like this game, 11.5 total. You're going to be on Coors, David Dahl, Trevor Story, Charlie Blackmon, Nolan Arenado, Daniel Murphy doesn't get a bad spot at the 5-hole there. Ryan McMahon's interesting. Tapia's in there. Tapia's not a guy that has the greatest price tag I know on DraftKings, but he can sometimes be cheap. And then on the Giants side, there's all these good bats, right? All these lefties. And I know, obviously, you like John Gray. You think he's a good pitcher, but we know we can have problems with lefties. So break this whole game down. What do you want to do with all these bats?
Yeah, so we'll start on FanDuel. And on FanDuel, because of pricing with Manaea and stuff, I'm able to get anyone I want. And I want Colorado. They are my favorite stack. They're affordable on FanDuel. So Dahl, Story, Blackmon, Arenado, they are the best 4. You got to leave one off. Pick one of them and then play Murphy or McMahon. I like the 4-man stack, but stick with the top 6. I do like the Giants lefties, though. Even though I do have a little interest in Gray, if I'm going to go, Yaz is good. Dickerson, Belt, those are my favorite 3. Would probably just stick to those as much. But on DraftKings, I do agree with JT. The Rockies are priced way too expensive. You need to do – I don't mind full stacking them a little bit if you're going to go double punt at pitcher. but the Giants are definitely more affordable. And Yaz Dickerson, Belt, Flores, Sandoval, I think they're the better option on DraftKings because of pricing. I'll have some maybe in FanDuel as one-offs or mini stack the lefties in cash, but I'm going to try and get way more Rockies on FanDuel because you can fit them all in.
Yeah, and listen, I totally get it. You got to be jamming in those Rockies here, I think, in this spot. But there are other good offenses, right? We talked about the Twins, how they're pretty close. But yeah, all in all, I think this is definitely a great game to target. So let's give a little look at the video. We got 121 people watching. We got 58 likes. We want to give away some swag. So JT, pick the number. What should we make the people get to? We're at 58 likes right now.
58 likes. We got about 24, 25 minutes left. Let's get to 80. We get to 80 today. We'll give something nice away.
All right, so just all we got to do is get to 80 likes, guys. That would be awesome. And you know what happens when we do that? We give away a T-shirt to someone, so that'll be good times. I'm not wearing the T-shirt right now. I wore the polo yesterday. I wore the T-shirt the other day, so I don't have another one to wear. I need that Run Pure Bets gear. That's what I really need. JT's got the T-shirt on, or the polo on, I think. Taylortown, you got the hat on at least right now?
Yep, I got the hat, repping little Wisconsin Badgers football. Football's coming up. Hopefully college, me and Wisconsin's teams, always a support. So got the Run Pure Bets hat on though.
Of course.
Run Pure Sports, sorry.
Yeah, no bet. I don't know. I'm sure there is a Bets hat. I'm sure it's at JJ's house or something. But yeah, no, definitely guys, hit the like and you get a nice shirt. The shirt's pretty good too. So definitely get in on that. Let's head on over to the next game. We got the Texas Rangers. We got the Oakland A's. And listen, we obviously talked about Manaea because he has some upside, but he does have, that obviously downside, right? Let's say he gets blown up. He'll be pulled right away, and then he'll just be feasting on the bullpen. So, JT, do you think the Rangers could get that done and be an interesting tournament option?
Yeah, it depends really on where his ownership ends up, right? I mean, I'm seeing him at 20% now. There's someone in chat who somehow sees him at 9%. I know places I've looked around today, he's an option that's kind of, not very popular, but just due to roster construction, if you want to get Coors in and you want to have two decent pitchers, people are looking at Manaea. On the Texas side, they strike out a lot against left-handers. If they get to him, that bullpen, Oakland's bullpen is quite good. One of the best bullpens in the game. There's, I think, I saw somewhere on the bet side maybe that there's people that like the first five, the under on the first five of this game. So that interests me as well. But on the Texas side, maybe I'd look at a guy like Nick Solak as a one-off. But I don't have a ton of interest. I'll definitely have some stacks in my max entry just because if Manaea is going to be that popular, I'm going to take a couple of chances. But I'm not interested in this Texas team. You guys have already said it's really not a great offensive team. On the other side, I like some Kyle Gibson. I think that it's an all. It looks like tonight it's an all right-handed lineup for Oakland. He's not a guy that strikes out a lot, but on a night where we're struggling to find the mid-range guys that are good, Gibson's a guy that I'm going to take some chances with.
Yeah, you know who else likes Kyle Gibson? Our boy Davey G, right? He helped him win a little bit of a qualifier, so he gets to go to the Fantasy Baseball Championship. That's a guy we like him, right? He sent us a nice little video for him. So if you want to check that out on Twitter, find it. It's pretty cool. But Titletown. Kyle Gibson, any interest in him in tournaments?
Yeah, I do have a little bit of interest in Kyle Gibson. Ground ball pitcher, I think he's pretty good. Very unlucky last start with the error in the first inning. Todd Frazier couldn't handle it at first. I know the air didn't go to him, but an extra 20 pitches, couldn't get the quality start. Just pitching well, too. He had no earned. Really cool video he sent out. Seems like a very nice guy, good pitcher. Congrats to Davey G. That was really cool. So mad respect for Kyle Gibson. I'll have a little bit today just because I mentioned he's a good pitcher. Not very interested in any of these hitters, so not gonna target any of them. But Manaea, Gibson, get a little of both pitchers. I don't stack them together because you are limiting your upside with a win. but it is viable if they're cheaper options. But yeah, both pitchers have some interest in no hitters.
Yeah, listen, definitely think that makes some sense there. Let's head over to the next game. And man, it's a low total. And I feel like, man, the Dodgers haven't done much in a while. They've always been in low totals, and Vegas has been pretty good on, just keep putting these totals down and down. JT, I don't think I have any interest in these stacks at all. I think this is a good stay away game. How about you?
Yeah, I think we've got two pretty good pitchers. This is a big test for Garrett Richards. In terms of real life and real baseball, is to see how he handles this lineup. But his velocity has been good. His breaking pitches have been really good. He got hit around a little bit in Coors, but it's Coors, and that happens to almost everybody up there. So to me, the more I'm looking at it, I kind of like Richards. His price is off. He's 6'2". I'm going to have some Garrett Richards. Bellinger is really, and Muncy are really the only two guys in this lineup that I would use, I think, tonight as one-offs, but they're expensive enough that I don't know how much of them I will. You are going to get the Dodgers at 5%, but the park, the pitcher, it doesn't really jump out to me. And then, the Dodgers, that bullpen, Stripling's a good enough pitcher. I really don't have a lot of interest in this game on the offensive side.
Yep, I agree. Titletown, same with you. Do you want to just move on from this one, or any bats got you excited?
Move on. Nothing that's getting me excited.
Yeah, I figured. Let's go on to the next game, though. And I think this game definitely has some offense to look at, right? 9.5 total. And I like Robbie Ray. I'm a big fan of him. I might play him, but man, the matchup is really tough. He's definitely improved a little bit as a pitcher, but he can get shelled. I'm totally saying that. Like, it can definitely become a disaster, especially against some of these Houston righties. JT, we always talk about liking the Astros overall as a stack. What do you want to do here with them in this spot?
Yeah, Ray's another pitcher who hasn't been good. And if you like taking those guys and banking on them to bounce back, there's a lot of good opportunities tonight. But this one, first of all, he's always been a little bit worse at home. I don't know why, but his home road splits are generally favor when he's pitching on the road. At home against the Astros, the entire lineup, especially the first 6 guys, are all guys who make their living crushing left-handed pitching. And when Robbie starts to get it, hit up a little bit, he gets wild. And the only thing in his favor tonight is his price. At least on Draftkings at 6.5 is as low as I've ever seen it for him. Worth maybe a couple of shots, but I'm much more interested in the Houston offense. They're just I think too much for Robbie Ray tonight.
Yeah, I get it, JT. I'm like, I consider putting Robbie Ray in my core plays because I think the K floor isn't bad at the price and it helps you get bats, but I don't know if I can stomach it. If you want to check that out, head over to Rumshire Sports, check that out. I'll make my final decision on that. Titletown, how about you? What do you want to do with this Astros offense? Are they a contrarian offense here that can slam Robbie Ray?
Yeah, the reason I'm leaning Clevenger, I think, is because I really don't want Robbie Ray in cash. It just is so scary against this Astros team. If you look at it, Altuve doesn't strike out, Bregman doesn't strike out, Gurriel doesn't strike out, Correa doesn't strike out much. Springer strikes out a little more, but I just do not like picking on this Houston offense. They're very good, even with their recent struggles and everything going on. Yeah, I expect to see a slight dip, obviously, in production from them. Just it's going to happen, but I still think they're a very good offense with very good hitters. So I do want some Astros. I want Springer, Altuve, Bregman, Gurriel, Correa. If I'm going to stack them, I'm not going to stack the bottom of the order. I'm going to go with the top 5. Not too worried about ownership because of Coors, and I would not be surprised for the Astros to get to Ray early and then start snowballing on them. So I like the Astros.
All right, let's see the YouTube chat. Let's see what you guys are doing in there and see our likes. We're at 64 likes, guys. We got to get to 80 to give away some swag. All you got to do is hit that like button, and we'll give away swag, free T-shirt at 80 likes. So we got about 15 minutes to be able to do that, but we got one more game left to discuss. And let's head on over to UJT for this one. Angels, Seattle Mariners, 9 total. And man, it's all these righties against a nice lefty, Marco Gonzalez. I really think this Angel stack is a great option here. I mean, Fletcher's been crushing the ball to start. Trout can kill it. Rendon ever against a lefty. I'm a big Justin Upton fan. Even Albert Pujols has been hitting well. He hit one out of the park yesterday. So, JT, are the Angels a stack that you think can get it done tonight?
Yeah, definitely. Gonzalez pitched a pretty good game against the Angels last week in Anaheim, but that was when Trout and Rendon were out of the lineup. So I like the Angels a lot tonight. They're probably end up in my top 3 in terms of exposure. On the other side, Julio Teheran makes his first start for the Angels. He's an okay real-life pitcher, but it's his first start. So I have no interest in him, but definitely you can look at some of these lefties in the Seattle lineup. You could look at Kyle Seager. You can look at, I think I mentioned him every show, J.P. Crawford, who's leading off. There's a couple of guys in the Seattle lineup that are cheap enough that you could use as one-offs that I'm not concerned about with Teheran pitching and the bullpen behind him. But Angels definitely my top priority in this game.
All right. Titletown, how about you? I love what JT kind of said. And one thing I want to piggyback off of is when you kind of see a pitcher one time, if you see him the next week, it's a better chance you can chill him, right? After seeing him one time, it helps you out. So Angel stack, any interest for you?
Yeah, I do like the Angels stack against a lefty, not a very good lefty. Of course, Mike Trout, probably the top player in the slate. Arenado's story, I guess, for cash, but Mike Trout's my favorite leverage on the slate with reduced ownership because of Coors, and Mike Trout against a bad lefty, sign me up. Anthony Rendon, Justin Upton, Fletcher, top of this order. I think you can stack them up late game, so I don't think they get too much ownership anyway, behind Coors, behind the Twins. Oh, definitely one of my favorite stacks of the night. Like the righties up top, don't leave off Mike Trout.
Yep, agree with you on that one. Let's talk about our top stacks now. Give me your 3 favorite stacks of the day, JT. Go.
Yeah, I'm going to go San Francisco, Toronto, and the Angels are my top 3 right now. And Toronto, both because I think Newcomb is broken. I think he's going to need some time in the minors or wherever they send these guys this season before he gets back to being right. Also, the ownership. I see Toronto coming in at 5%. You want to pair them. They're not exactly super cheap, but if you wanted to pair them with the Giants on DK or pair them with the Rockies, it makes it gets you a little bit different.
All right, Titletown, how about you? Give me your 3 favorite stacks.
Well, I just want to answer a quick question I saw in chat. Someone said, any chance I'm taking or any look at taking chance on Pollock at 3,200 bat and leadoff? I don't mind it if you need the 3,200 and it gets you all the other bats you want. I'm fine doing it. Not looking to play too many Dodgers, so it's not my favorite thing. But 3,200, if it makes your lineup work, bat and leadoff, can't complain. Then my top stacks, the Rockies, of course, they're number 1. I'm going to go with the Twins as number 2. And then Giants lefties plus the Angels is my 3rd.
All right. I would say I'm pretty similar to you. Rockies, I'd say Angels 2, and then Twins 3. Those are probably my 3 favorite spots I'd go to. JT, let's do some home run calls. Give me your home run guys. I don't know if you got a Sean Murphy up your sleeve or something. In the meantime, though, we need 10 likes, guys. So we're at 70 likes. Give us 10 more, and then we can give away the free swag. But JT, is there a Sean Murphy on this slate for you? Some random guy that you want to give us here with your home run calls?
There may be a Sean Murphy, as a matter of fact. Before I get to that, though, Zach, I don't know this as well as you may. Is Pollock one of those guys where if you get to the 6th inning and they pull Richards out and put a lefty in, is he a pinch hit candidate?
Yeah, I'm afraid that with the Dodgers with Roberts, I'm afraid that he might only have 3 max at bats. Don't quote me on that. I mean, it's not 100% he's going to get pinch hit, but you don't have 100% safety. If you're playing him for 3,200, you're okay taking a 0 and you're loving the rest of your lineup. So I wouldn't expect 4 or 5 at bats, especially in a low total game. I can definitely see him get pitch hit for it.
Yeah, it just seems like anyone other than Muncy at leadoff, and when he puts Jock up there or anybody else, a good chance he'll pull him out. So just thinking about that in terms of the equity with some of these other games. But my home runs, Yastrzemski and Coors. I think he gets one tonight. Anthony Rendon, like him a lot. He was out of the lineup last time Gonzalez pitched against him. And my Sean Murphy call of the night is Danny Jansen for the Blue Jays. He's a right-handed catcher with a lot of power, underrated power threat, and I think Newcomb's pitch mix is perfect for him. I think he pops one out.
Yeah, listen, I don't even hate that call. I think I'm trying to see if I can find it now, but I think I had him in my tiers. I can't remember because again, I think he's like a pretty good like punt option if you want to like kind of not that you're punting Danny Jensen, but he's in play for that as an option as a cheaper catcher that could be in a decent spot. So, all right, so let's give your home run calls, Titletown. Give me your 3 favorite ones.
I'm gonna go Mike Trout up top. Not even gonna take an Arenado story. Just Mike Trout against a lefty. Give me that homer. I'm going to go Francisco Lindor, who I do not think is going to be very owned against a bad Antone. I think Lindor pops one out at sub 10%, probably around 5%. And the last guy you'll hear from me a lot, my calls, but Mitch Garver, batting 7th. Don't think he's going to get a lot of ownership because of that. Like the Twins a lot and think Garver is going to go overlooked. And he's a very good hitter. So Mitch Garver is my last.
All right, Mitch Garver's your last guy. Let me see. I'm going to definitely give you a story. I'm going to be on him for sure. So I'm going to take a Coors bat. I always will at least take one. So yeah, I would say probably Story is my guy there. I like him. I'm trying to see who else should I go. I don't love this slate. I would say Springer's a pretty good candidate against Robbie Ray. I think one guy will get a hold of him. Actually, we'll go with Springer. Let's go with Bregman. I like Bregman more as the guy. I think his numbers match up a little better. So I'll go with Bregman. And then I'll go with an off-the-board guy for you. Let's see here. Let's go with Mr. Adam Duvall. He can mash those lefties sometimes. So I'll go with Adam Duvall. We got some people talking in the chat about, AJ Pollock now getting platoon. Duvall's kind of one of those guys. He seems like he's going to be a platoon guy for the rest of his career for sure. He was young and didn't end up turning out to be what we thought he could have been. So yeah, that's going to about do it here for this. Let's see, 76 likes, guys. 76. Come on. We had 160 to watch, and we just need 4 more, and then we're going to give away some swag. In the meantime, while that's going down, JT, you were on the playbook today, so if there's anyone listening and they don't know much about the MLB playbook, give them a little taste of what it is.
Yeah, the playbook goes through what we believe are the top stats, top pitchers, and then top plays at each position, and then a summary about the strategy to attack the slate, what we see as roster construction being optimal, or even looking at different teams that we might take smaller pieces of. And then we've got a Coors section where you and Zach and BigT, sometimes I jump on there and give out one of our core plays for our GPP lineups and cash core as well.
Yep. No, the playbook's awesome. Definitely something to look at. And like a ton, there's awesome, great info. It's a nice one-stop shop. Another playbook I want to talk about while we're here is the PGA playbook. The PGA playbook's out, has tons of great content. We got our core plays too. We have our tiers. I still got to work on that. So right when I get off the show, I'm going to finalize my MLB core plays, and then I'm going to get going on some of the PGA stuff to finalize my last decisions. And if you are making your final last PGA decisions, you got to tune into the show tonight. We got a 9:00 show. It's going to be the GPP strategy show. I think Hoop will be there too. I'm sure he'll talk some cash games as well. So it won't just be, GPP strategy only, but you'll have Big T there. I'm sure Big T will be a little liquored up. He'll probably have the wine in him, having a good time. JSU will be there talking. I think AP is going to be there as well. JJ, I heard, might make an appearance from our bet side. So it's going to be an awesome time, guys. So, you got to get in and watch that. Titletown. We'll be watching that stream tonight.
Yeah, I'll probably hop on. I'm gonna Freddie Gallo is probably gonna have 2 home runs before that. Didn't check if he made the lineup. Probably did. Big T's gonna be rolling. Gonna have a nice Celtics hammer tonight with a little Brooklyn. So definitely good sports on. A lot of good sweats. Watch the PGA show while I'm doing it. And then yeah, you mentioned the core plays. If you guys aren't signed up at Run Pure Sports, yesterday on my core plays, I had Lance Lynn, who had a very good outing. Matt Adams homered. Got Josh Harrison at 6% who homered. Howie Kendrick. Saw a lot of screenshots of guys that crushed. So Yeah, Mangone gives his Mangone or Hoop gives his cash. I give my single entry core. Big T's always filling them out. JT sometimes. Uncle T got a good playbook for one-offs and other stuff. Just a lot of great content. If you don't have a lot of time or just need to make a lineup in 10, 15 minutes in any sport, playbook core play is a very easy way. Make it as easy as possible for you guys.
Yeah, JT, we got one question we'll do, and then we'll get on out of here. And guys, you got two more. I'm making this hard. It's got to be 80, so we need 2 likes here, and then we're gonna be giving away the T-shirt. If not, you'll have to come back to the PGA show and try and get it there and see if Big T's giving one away. But JT, here's the question from chat. Any interest in a Seattle sack? They stink, but always seem to have sneaky upside.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, a little bit. Now, I wouldn't go crazy because I think there are much better spots. But like I said, Tehran's making his first start. Joe Manaea's managing this team. He's had a tight leash on pretty much every single pitcher, and certainly when these guys have made their first starts. And Kyle Lewis went oppo and missed a homer last night by literally about a foot. And he's been hitting the ball hard. Seager is a good lefty. Tehran has had trouble with lefties his entire career. So anyone who's left-handed in that lineup, even all the way down to Marmoleos, if you're doing a couple of stacks of Seattle, and the right-handed powers. I don't know about a double down, Steve Anthony, but Kyle Lewis almost hit one out last night. He's got a good shot against Tehran.
All right. We'll give you a question, Titletown. Blackman or Trout? You got to pick one. Take a stand. Which one are you going with?
For cash, I'm going to go Blackman. I'm going to have 4 Rockies. So I like stacking in cash. Blackman, think you can have more at bats, just safer. So Blackman there. Tournaments, I'm going to go Trout, though. I think he has a monster game. It's just I'm not going to full stack them in cash, so that's why I'm saying Blackman, but it's very tough. You're picking between 2 of the best players.
All right, that will about do it for us. And hey, we got there. We got to the 82 likes. I give you guys credit. It was a pretty good effort from you guys. So we'll definitely be giving something away here. And I'm going to pick a random person. So let me close my eyes. I'm going to do the scroll, and we landed on Mamba for Life. So Mamba for Life, send a DM to the Run Pure Sports Twitter account. Send it over there or send it to me, and we will get you hooked up. So Mamba for Life, you are the winner for this swag giveaway. JT, give your final thoughts on this slate, and then we'll get on out of here.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm going to be interested to see where some of these pitchers' scores end up. One question in chat, any interest in the Bravos? Not really. You could pick a power righty one-off. I think Duval, right? With Mangone, Duval was your home run call?
Yeah. I picked him as like the random guy against.
So Duval, but other than that, I mean, Ryu is a guy who makes these guys beat it into the ground, and so not a ton of interest. But it's interesting. I think we're going to see a lot of offense, but I think it's going to be concentrated in just a few spots. So we'll see how it goes.
Alrighty, thanks a lot for joining us, guys. It was a lot of fun. It was fun being with you, JT and Titletown, but we got to go. For me, Mangone,